Okay then, so this will probably be the first of a few videos, if not many videos, where we'll look at Dreamweaver and the sorts of things you can do with it. For this one, this is how to set up the site, set up a new page within the site, make sure the workspace is there, and make sure all the housekeeping is done. It's important to get all this right because you'll have all sorts of problems if you don't. So, yours should look something like this. It may look a bit different in the middle, but don't really worry about that. So the first thing we need to do is set up the site. The site is where all the pages are stored. So the site's like the book, and then the pages are the pages within the book, obviously. So first of all, we'll come up here and we'll say new site, and we're going to name the site. Now, it doesn't really matter what you name the site. Obviously, you want it something sensible, but it's not something the computer's going to look at or anybody's going to find on the internet, or indeed you're going to get graded on. So I'm going to call mine test site because that's the sort of name you do when you're doing a test. But the next important thing to do is say, actually, where is this site going to be stored? So for the sake of this, I'm saving it on the desktop. I'm going to set up a new folder within here, and I'm going to call it test site, or I'll just call it test. So I'm double clicking that, and I'm going to select that folder and call it test site. It doesn't like the name test site, probably because it's got a space between it, or I've had it before. So I'll put test site 2, that'll do. And if you notice, it's saved within this test folder there. Okay, before I save that, I'm going to go into advanced settings, and I'm going to set up an image folder. Now, the image folder is where all the images and all the other assets, really, like videos and everything else, if you're going to use them, are stored within this particular folder, which is within the site. So you need to come to here and make sure you're within the site and set up an images folder within there. Okay, double click that, select that folder. So now it knows there's an images folder within there, and that's going to be the default images folder. So we'll click save there, and if you notice, it'll come up here. So you need to be on the files tab, and it'll come up here. If your view doesn't look like this in terms of your desktop layout, you need to be in standard view up here, not in developer view, unless you're going to code the whole thing. And if it's gone a bit weird because it's been open before or something like that, you can always do reset standard. One thing I do, because I don't really use DOM that often, is get rid of or minimize that down here, because you're going to use CSS Designer. If you've got enough space, you can always open up like this and have CSS Designer like this, but on a small laptop, that's really not going to work. So I'll have that across here like this. All right, so now we've got a site. So effectively, we've got a book, but we haven't got any pages in it. So the next thing you need to do is set up a new page, or the first page, the home page, in other words. But it's not called home page, it's called index. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so file new, you're going to do a HTML, and every time you start a page, and some of you may choose to set all your pages up to begin with. If you know what they're already going to be, that's fine as well. But the first page always has to be saved as index, but that doesn't mean to say it's called index. That's a bit weird. So the title of the page is the thing that goes on the top of the page. It's the thing that goes when you hover over the tab, and it's the thing that appears in Google when you search for it. So if my page was about testing a website, that's what I would call this. It's a bit of a rubbish name, I know. So I'm going to call this create. I'm going to say create. At the moment, that's not saved. It's not saved anyway. You can see it's not saved because it's got a star beside it. Get used to looking at that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is save this. So file save as, because of the first time I save it. And because it's my home page, index.html. Make sure it's within your folder, not within the images folder within that test folder, but in the site folder. So I've now saved the page. So if I come to that particular folder there, and I come into here and double click it to open in Dreamweaver, that is the page. How do I know it's the page? Because if I hover over it there, look, testing a website, that's the title of the page. I can also do a little test as well if I'm still not sure by going, let's put a little paragraph in, hello, oh, not hello, that would be a bit weird. Okay, and then go Control S to save it. Notice how the star's gone. Come into here, refresh, and hello appears there. Okay, so there is the first of many videos showing you how to set up your site and set up a page within a site. Notice how the stars appeared again because I've deleted that paragraph tag out. And yeah, that's it for now.